Very excited that you're all interested in Explore Class 5. Explore is a phenomenal program led by our phenomenal leaders, Jen and Natalka, take you across Arizona. My 2 cents, and then Jen's going to take it, is that these are not field trips, tours. These are very much um, community-centered visits. You get to learn a lot about a place just physically, geographically, but more importantly, you're learning about the people who lead in those communities, what they're leading on. It's just very rich. It's got depth. It was very much an intentional part of our reimagination when we sat down and thought, what does VL do for the next 40 years? And that we wanted to see parts of Arizona to get people to understand how those most pressing issues show up in different parts of Arizona. And again, more importantly, how leaders in those spaces are showing up in those places in addressing those issues. So appreciate that you're all interested in what Explore has to offer. Exciting to see such a good breadth of alumni who are interested. This is again smaller cohort. You'll learn all about that very much in person, and super fun. So with that, I will hand it over to Jen Gastelum, who manages and leads Explore, to tell you a little bit more about it. Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you, Dave. Welcome, everybody. Super happy to have you all here and to be launching our 5th year of Explore. Not only do we have potential applicants in this space, but we also have some of our alumni. We have Natalka, who is the logistics manager for Explore, and of course, Paige, who does all of our marketing. And Dave, thank you for kicking us off. I'm going to go ahead and just get us started, and we'll have plenty of time for questions, and our alumni are going to share a little bit about their experience later as well. So, okay. So we're going to today talk a little bit about Valley leadership. Sounds like y'all are well familiar, but if you haven't been in our Catalyze class, then things have adjusted a bit since Dave has taken the lead in this realm. So we'll talk a bit about that. We'll talk about the Explore program, some details that might help you decide if you're a good fit and if you are prepared for what is demanded of you in the program, and then Q&A there at the end. So our team has actually grown quite a bit since last year. So you can see we have Dave and Paige and Amanda, Kate, Stephen, Carrie, me, Natalka, and Brianna. And we all work in different realms, some with program management, some with marketing, some with our tech, some with our impact maker teams, but all doing work to further our mission here with Valley Leadership. So VL, we bring a broad spectrum of Arizonans together to work in collaboration as leaders and to impact Arizona's most pressing issues. We do that as a team, and we also hope to impact all of you to do the same. And the key to what we're doing now is that leadership is action. So that's really what we're promoting in all of our programming and all of our work as a whole. So if you aren't familiar, our principles of doing are here: driven to do, Arizona first, building trust, and team mindset. This is what we operate off of as a whole with everything that we do. And with the Explore program in particular, we lean into a few of these a little bit more heavily. The building trust is really central to the success of Explore, and bringing together a group of leaders with integrity and Arizona first are really at the center of everything with Explore. Team mindset and driven to do absolutely come through as well, but what you're going to see most is these other three. So do you want to do? Catalyze is our foundational program now. If you've done Institute in the past, that's kind of what has stepped in to take the place of Institute. It's a little bit different, but the goals are pretty similar as far as gaining information about our state and the issues that exist here. And then we have Impact Maker and Explore as well. And today you're here to learn about the Explore program. So Explore has actually changed a bit since we started. We started 5 years ago now, and we've added 2 cities since the beginning of it. But the original idea was really that we were going to be visiting a broad spectrum of places geographically, that it would create some diversity in what we would be learning about Arizona. It would broaden our understanding and our perspectives. So the way that this program is structured is really with a preparation day. We do a full foundations day here in the Valley. We then do a day in rural Arizona in Yuma and San Luis. We go into Nogales, Arizona as a border state. We spend a day in the Mexico side and a day in the Arizona side. We explore now 4 cities locally: South Phoenix, Buckeye, Mesa, and Gila River Indian Community, which was added last year. Those are all done with full day experiences, but they are not overnights where we're putting you up in any location. And then we have Arizona on the Reservation. We travel actually a good amount up to Monument Valley and back down. So we cover a lot of ground there. That's a big part of the experience. And so it's 2 overnights. And then we have a reflection day here locally. And that same day as we do our reflection, we also have our graduation dinner where we celebrate the conclusion of the program. Excuse me. Why aren't you going to the next one? There we go. All right, our explore dates. So take note of when the dates are so that you can determine if it's a good fit for you. Obviously, as adults, as grown-ups, we have lots of responsibilities, and so this is probably the biggest indicator of whether it's going to work. So write the dates down, check them out on the website, and make sure that they're a good fit. So as you can see, we hit on our foundations day. We do rural, border, local, which is urban, suburban, exurban, Navajo Nation, and then we wrap up with our reflection day. Our dates are here, so you can see that the majority of them are happening on a Friday and a Saturday. We have one Thursday, and that's when we travel to Navajo Nation. So as to not take up your entire weekend, we leave Thursday and we come back Saturday evening. Generally speaking, our days start pretty early in the morning and then they end kind of at the end of the workday, like 5, 6 p.m. With our travel dates, the expectation is that you're at the location relatively early, around 9, 10, depending upon where we're traveling and what our schedule is. So again, you'll be starting pretty early, but these are our dates. So the travel dates where you're staying overnight are the 20th and 21st for Yuma, the 10th and 11th for Nogales, and the 4th, 5th, and 6th in June for Navajo Nation. As you can see, there's the Fridays and Saturdays, so we are demanding your weekend dates, but there's one Thursday when we travel to Navajo Nation. And then as far as traveling goes, we have we support you all in carpool, but we have one experience where we actually organize all of the travel. So we charter a bus and we travel up through Navajo Nation together, and that's organized by us. The rest of them, we will support you in finding your carpool group. That has tended to be a pretty important part of the experience for the folks in the past. They kind of have their carpool crew. I know there was a group that met last night for their carpool dinner that they still do. So you may end up finding some of your closest people by carpooling to all of these locations, which is also just another opportunity to dig in deeper on the concepts and the ideas and what you're learning in those experiences. So what is the Explore experience all about? We are working with formal and informal leaders. That means that people who are in elected positions, people who are running businesses, people who are community artists, people who are self-identified community leaders. We try and talk to people from all areas so that we get a good representation of what it means to be a part of that community. We also use the Vitalist Healthy Communities Wheel, and this is a tool that has been helpful in us really ensuring that everything we're talking about does fit within this broader idea of what it means to be part of a healthy community. So you'll see that when we start our Foundations Day, we reference that. It's in your travel journal that you'll get, and then talking about it throughout so that we can start to see how it all fits together. And then, of course, our principles of doing, which come up throughout the entire thing. And of course, we use it as part of our reflection when we're discussing everything that we're learning. So, how was Explore built? So, my background is community development work and working directly with communities, and also I really value the human experience. So, what we have built Explore off of is this idea that it is experiential. So, obviously, we're traveling to places all over the state, and our hope is that we are able to do things when we're there, right? Like go, not just have tours, but do some hands-on experience and learn from people and see the places that we're talking about in person. It's also asset based, which means that the things that we're learning about are really highlighting the beautiful assets of the places that we're visiting. Which naturally, those conversations also surface some of the challenges. But when you learn about the ways in which a community takes care of itself, you're also naturally able to learn about some of the challenges that are unique to them, or that are more broadly felt throughout Arizona, but maybe are uniquely addressed in that place, which makes it place-based, right? So that every place that we're going, we are able to understand the important issues that exist in those places through the lens of the places and the people that work and live there. It's also community-led, which means that although I'm in this really beautiful position where I get to work with all these incredible leaders and put together the program experience, I really lean on the folks who are doing work in communities to make decisions about what it is that we learn about. Because who's better equipped to tell us about their place than the people who live and work and do that and do the things that they do in the places that they're from. So, very much community led by the local folks in those places. So, what is the Explore program all about? Obviously, travel is central to everything, so you should be prepared to travel throughout the state. Deep connection is really become such an essential part of this. So initially, I think we all understood that you were going to broaden your network. You were going to meet people across the entire state. We have over 120 different leaders that we work with at this point throughout the state. But more than that, you create deep connections within the cohort. It's a small cohort, so it's generally 15 at most, maybe a few more. But the idea behind that is that you are closely connecting with the folks in the program. And you can't go through a program like this where you're having kind of difficult conversations, challenging conversations, traveling all over the place without deeply connecting with the people that you're doing that with and having this shared experience with that's quite unique. And we also ask you to consider your personal values, to dig into what matters to you, and to use those throughout your experience, and then to be able to reference those there at the end when we do our reflection. So, what is the cost of Explore? So, just like with our other program, we have a sliding scale. It can go from 500 actually up to 3,000, depending upon how you're coming into the program. As you can imagine, a program like this is not terribly inexpensive to run, but what's most important to us is that it is accessible. So we want to make sure that regardless of where you're coming from, that this program is not inaccessible to you, that you have the option to pursue it. So $500 at the low end, 2350 at the high end if you don't have your company sponsoring you. And we offer scholarship if that's a necessary thing for you to be able to participate in the program. So the Explore application is online. It's a very thoughtful, I think it's 7 questions in total, where we ask you to be thoughtful about your responses. We don't do a interview, and so the application online is really the main place that we are learning about your willingness to participate, your your readiness to participate, whether you're a good fit and whether we're a good fit for you is really what we're looking at. So our hope is that you take the time to fill out the online application thoughtfully, because the application review is done by 2 staff at minimum and 2 of our board members as well. And we all collectively get together afterwards to discuss and ensure that we're all on the same page about who gets accepted into the program. We will then notify all of the applicants about the next steps in the program, and that happens in January. The application deadline is December 5th, so all of our review happens over our lovely Christmas break and holiday break, and then we do all of our notifications and next steps in January. So, to wrap it all up, this program starts March 7th, ends June 20th. There's 7 sessions. It includes 4 overnights. That's 7 Saturdays, 5 Fridays, and 1 Thursday off, and that's in your typical 5-day work week. That's what you'd be looking at. We've got Yuma, Nogales, Mesa, South Phoenix, Buckeye, Gila River, Indian Community, and Navajo Nation. Um, and that is actually probably light, as we also visit San Luis, and when we go to Navajo Nation, we visit no less than 4 communities within that space. So you get to see a lot of Arizona. It's not all of Arizona, and we often have feedback on what other places we should be visiting, but we do visit a lot of locations in a short amount of time. And our goal is to broaden perspectives, make connections, and deepen understanding of Arizona as a state. The broadening of perspectives is inevitable. You're going to better understand what it means to be a part of Arizona at the end of this, and you're going to make connections not only within your cohort, but also with the many, many leaders that we have engaged with over the past 5 years to build this program, who feel deep ownership and care in showing up and participating and always enthusiastically doing so. So you'll get to hear so many stories, and that's what makes this program so rich and meaningful. So with that, I would like to see who is on. Who do we have here of our alumni? We have Brad. Hi, Brad. As you're turning away. We have Mo or Michelle. Let's see, Richard. I don't know if he got back to his computer yet. I told everyone 11:30, so I think I must have talked pretty quickly. Hi, Mo. But I wanted to invite our lovely alumni who so willingly chose to participate today, to share with you all a little bit about their experience. Uh, they're from different years, so you're gonna maybe get some different perspectives. But I would love if you all would just introduce yourself briefly. What Explore class were you in? And then what was your biggest takeaway from your experience? And then perhaps if there's something that you wish you would have known before you started the program, I think that would be helpful for our potential applicants as well. We can go by order of the screen if Richard's back, or he may not
Hi.
be. Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, I'm here. Very, very glad to be here. I was Explorer 2. I I believe it's been so long ago. I actually got a chance to actually kind of interact with the Explorer 3 class as well a little bit, which was an amazing experience to be able to even more expand my network a little bit. No, but I really enjoyed the Explorer experience. Was For me was just the networking opportunities were incredible to be around so many somewhat like-minded people, and then to really explore different parts of Arizona was just a real blessing to be able to see how decisions really impact other communities, outside of Phoenix. And I think, again, the networking and friendship experiences, for me personally, were just incredible. Yeah, Brad, who's going to speak here in a second, we still get the opportunity to interact. We have a small group that we go to Phoenix Rising games as often as possible, and we just have gotten to know each other, even our families as well. So that's been an amazing experience. But before I rail on too much, uh, sorry, I didn't really introduce myself. Richard Verduzco. I am an administrator in Phoenix Union High School District. I'm currently the assistant principal and athletic director for Maryville High School. I was at different schools when I was in the Explore program, but again, I think just the ability and the opportunity to interact with other professionals and individuals throughout uh, a huge spectrum of different career fields, and knowledge and experience and mindsets was just incredible. I think the only thing I uh, would have liked to have known going in before was to really, I wish I would have known that programs like this existed earlier on, because the networking experience was probably one of the highlights of my professional career. So welcome.
Thank you, Richard. All right. Who's next?
Hi, everyone. My name is Mo, and I'm Valley Leadership Institute Class 41, and I was part of the initial cohort for Explore One, and it was an amazing experience, and I can't speak highly enough of it. It was wonderful. I still maintain those strong relationships with members of my group. I love Jen and Natalka and Grandpa Dave over there. It was an awesome experience to be able to travel and create deeper connections and learn more about the state. Um, I'm Navajo on my mother's side, and I'm Gila River on my dad's side. And I obviously already kind of know about the diversity of the state, having grown up in Phoenix, but having family that are in two different regions of the state. But this really broadened my horizon that much more. And it made me realize was how incredibly blessed and fortunate that we are to live in such an amazing state. It's a multi-dimensional state. You are going to find all of these like unique cultural aspects of everywhere you visit. But at the same time, you're going to find out that everyone has the same concerns. Everyone wants to, improve their community. They love their communities. They want to constantly grow and make it better, but they need support, and they want to learn about you as much as you want to learn about them, because they have a lot of pride. They have a lot, as they should, in their communities. And I think for me, one of the most enlightening experiences was in, believe it or not, in Yuma. It was hot as heck, not gonna lie, but it was interesting because it's a part of the state that I wasn't too familiar with. And as we went along with, the program, and when I went, we didn't have South Mountain as part of our program or Gila River, but it offered just enough of an experience to make me kind of like, I wouldn't say it challenged my beliefs, because I already was in pretty much alignment of being, I love the word Jen you use, community centric, but it just basically broadened my horizons. It added growth, and then as Richard mentioned, the network that you'll develop and the relationships. I mean, the members of my cohort, I mean, I could call them and ask them for anything and they would do it. And we get together throughout the year, and it's amazing to reflect on what we experienced and the people that we met. And I am currently not employed, but my work has never ended. And when I was employed, I worked for a nonprofit, and I was actually able to use the sources that I received from um, the program and bring them to my organization and say, like, this is a person on the Navajo Nation doing this. Or, hey, this is a community in Nogales. This is what they're doing. Maybe we can incorporate that into what we're doing. Or maybe, if nothing else, you can thought partner and we can bring that to our organization. So you're going to get a wealth of knowledge. Soak it all in. It's amazing. And what I wish I knew before I went into it, I don't know if there's anything. I was thinking about that. I mean, I went into it, hot off the heels of Valley Leadership Institute, so I was already in that mindset. I think I think go in with like a maybe an open mind, open heart, and as long as you do that, you'll walk away with just, again, a wealth of information that's invaluable.
Thank you, Mo. Hi, Lene.
Hello.
Do you want to share with the group what your biggest takeaway? Well, first, I'd love if you could introduce yourself, and then if you could share your biggest takeaway from your Explorer experience, and if there's anything that you wish you would have known before starting.
Lene Ferguson with Catalyze 2 and Explore 2, I guess. And my background is in HR management. I'm an independent consultant now, and um, I am an explorer at my core. And so I knew even before, well, as I was applying for Catalyze, I learned about Explore program, and I just knew that eventually I would do that. And so it was well advertised. I knew the expectations were set accurately in my point of view, but what I gained was so much information and insight about what's going on in my state that I was not aware of. I thought I was aware, and it just opened my eyes. It was very eye-opening. Each locale that we visit, hearing from the leaders was invaluable. Things I needed to know and understand about the economy, about the infrastructure, about education, and I can go on and on. Um, and it has changed my point of view. I was getting much of what I knew about the state from the news, let's face it. And that doesn't scratch the surface. It just doesn't. And it's made me just more compassionate, just more understanding about the needs, the great needs, uh, and the issues, and also I love learning about the arts,
Mhm.
the impact of the arts. I'm active in the arts here locally in Mesa, and I just appreciated that as well. So anything that I wish I knew, um, I can't really think of anything. It really uh, the expectations were set well. So
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lenny. All right, Brad, you're up.
Good afternoon, everyone, and Brad here in Valenzuela. Shout out to Richard and Lene from Explore number 2. Great to see you guys again. See Richard often, Phoenix Rising game. So for me, and this is kind of tough to follow everyone else, but I'll echo a lot of the same sentiment. And for me, it's 2 things: it's people and it's places. Both the people in the program with me. These are going to be some, lifelong friendships. But the people that we met out at these sites and the places, like Lene said, the breadth of topics that we covered, I mean, from immigration to water, to trade, to agriculture, to the native experience, such a wide variety of topics and information and perspectives too. I'll say I really appreciated that. I think, wanting to have an open mind and an open heart, but also the way that the Explorer experience was set up to give different perspectives. We heard from, immigrants' rights activists but also to Border Patrol, right? So we heard all those differing perspectives, and we could take that back to our groups and have those discussions. So yeah, really huge impact for me. Another shout out to Natalka for all the great snacks and drinks. So really great job with the logistics there too. Awesome food, restaurants. So the experiences again, so great. And I'll echo as well of what I wish I had known. And I think again, you guys did a great job of setting things up, of really having that open mind and open heart. So I was prepared and open for that. But as a native Arizonian who, I feel like I've challenged myself to get out, similar to what Lene said, has so shaped and informed my understanding of so much more of our state and the people that live in it. So really incredible experience.
Yay. Thank you so much, Brad. I love seeing you all. This is just a lovely little treat. Okay, I will. One last person to share, Natalka, I'm putting you on the spot. Because we haven't heard from you. Natalka does all of our logistics management. She makes sure that we all have hotel rooms to sleep in, that we have food to eat, that we have snacks, and everything we need along the way. She makes sure we know where we're going. I never know where I'm at. I have terrible sense of direction, but she always knows where we're going and how to get there. Natalka, would you like to share anything that you you hope folks know before they start the program?
Thank you, Jen. And yeah, to just be quick on time, as far as logistics go, if you have any questions about logistics or pertaining to that, please feel free to email me. And just to clarify, some of the top questions that I usually get are, and I'll just go through them very quickly, is hotel rooms. So through the Explore experience, I book the hotel rooms. And so you show up and each person gets their own room. So Yuma, Nogales, the hotel rooms are already booked. You show up, same with Navajo Nation, that is also taken care of. All of the meals during the program, breakfast, lunch, dinner, that is also communicated and taken care of. Any sort of special dietary needs, I'm happy to try and accommodate. Again, we do go into some restaurants and some places where sometimes food accommodation can't happen just because it's either rural or there isn't something there, but I'm more than happy to try and find something for you. So also there is an agenda that's put out before each of the days, and also a Zoom meeting before each of the program days as well to have those questions answered. Another thing too to emphasize is we do sometimes a lot of walking in certain places. So comfortable clothing, we'll go over that depending on the weather. Also, we can't I can't change the weather, so please don't ask if I can. So yes, we will go over all of those little things to make you feel comfortable and so that you're open to learn and to be present to learn without having to worry about those accommodations and all of the food and everything like that. And it's also going to be in your travel journal too. So it's covered in the travel journal, the hotels, the dates, the addresses. So it's covered pretty extensively, but again, I am more than happy to help. And any sort of question, you can definitely email me or text me.
Awesome. Thank you, Natalka. All right, so we have a little bit of time and we would like to open up for questions. If Adolfo happens to hop on, you know, what it's like being an adult, sometimes things come up, then we will give him the space to share as well. But in the meantime, we would like to answer any questions you all have. You can ask them to me, to Natalka, to Dave, to any of our alumni, but that is open. Unless we were just so incredibly thorough.
You were pretty thorough. This is
What
Quinn.
is the, okay, go ahead.
Sorry, no, go ahead, Tammy.
What's the time commitment outside of, obviously the actual planned activities? Are there other projects or anything else outside of that to anticipate?
That's a really good question. We do have pre-sessions the evening before. They're generally an hour. We have usually a speaker that's from the place that we're visiting just to kind of give you, a little bit of hype up of the place that you're going to go, and just like if they sometimes aren't able to join us for the actual program day. And then we make sure we dig into all of the logistics and the details of the agenda so that you have everything that you need and feel prepared for the program traveling and all of those things. So that's just an hour the day before. And then other than that, we do use CoAssemble, which is the program that we use with Catalyze, and it houses our materials, which is generally going to be websites, our bios of our speakers, anything else that you might need. And that's all kind of on your own time, but probably an additional couple of hours of reading and things like that if you're going to dig into those, which we're all different learners. So that's really on you on how deeply you dig into that. But we do try and provide those supplemental resources to support your learning as well.
Great, thanks.
Gwen, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just curious a little more about what you're looking for in the application and also in terms of scholarships.
Yeah, so the application, you'll see when you get in there. I mean, it's 7 pretty straightforward questions that are asking about how you show up in communities that you're not a part of, being aware of our own biases, those types of things. And so we're really just hoping that you can share with us like that you're prepared for a program that kind of demands that of you. So this program, like we are visiting places that we're not a part of, but we're not going in to fix things. We're going in to learn and understand. And so we're really trying to emphasize that our role and the role of the program is to go in with a mindset of curiosity, to seek to understand these places and not necessarily what we sometimes can do and what often leadership programs are equipping us for. And really, you know, us as an organization, we do want people to feel empowered to make change, but this program in particular, the intent is understanding. So there may be opportunities to support the work of these organizations in the future. And we're actually going to support an organization called Change Labs in Navajo Nation in the next couple of weeks. But the program itself, we're wanting to make sure you're prepared for like exactly what that looks like. Because we have a responsibility to take care of the folks that we have strong relationships with in the places that we visit and all of these things. So it can be kind of complex as far as the human component of it. And then as far as scholarship goes, you'll have the opportunity to put that in your application as well and request what it is that you're hoping to get support on, and then we'll have an individual exchange about what we can offer and what it is that you need in order to feel comfortable participating. All right.
Another logistics piece that I failed to mention too, I just came up, passports. So we do, when Jen said we do like Yuma and San Luis, but Nogales, we do Ambos Nogales. So we go to both sides of the border. So a passport will be needed for the program or any legal document to get you back.
Thank you for that reminder, Natalka. All right, anything else? Dave, do you have anything to add?
Just the correction that it's not Grandpa Dave, it's just Dave. I apparently have a nice sun hat, you know, don't want the sun beating on me. And I guess it's just a little too old fashioned, and I got the moniker Grandpa Dave. That being said, though, you do walk a lot. You are outside a lot, which is fantastic. Jen and Natakla do such a good job of keeping things moving. The days are packed. So when you think about time commitment, also think about brain space commitment. You see a lot, learn a lot, talk a lot, move around a lot. And it's not exhausting. We do have nice dinners and fun dinners. The time in Nogales is very fun. But know that you are committing to not a series of field trips, which would wear you out anyway, but you're absorbing a lot. You also reflect a lot. So a key part of the program is this journal where you're writing things down. You have reflection time. So it's immersive, which is what we want. We try to pack in as much as we can because there's so much to do, but also, you know, try to think through adults, how far can they go during a day? And I think we've struck a good balance. I'd say we'd lean more towards there's a lot we want to share with you and what the communities want to share with you, but think about that too. We do want people present, thinking, interacting with each other, interacting with speakers, all that sort of stuff. So know that if I think we had someone who was interested, but their wife is giving birth in April, probably not the best time to go off and have your brain somewhere else. Physically, you may be able to handle daycare and other things, but mentally, you want to come back to your family there and have some brain power. So just keep that in mind too when you're thinking about that commitment.
Yeah, thank you for noting that. It's a very true thing that these days are packed. And we say it a lot of times, but it's certainly a commitment of your brain power for sure. And we try and cover as much as we can, right? Like we're in these spaces for just a short period of time. And so we try and cover really as much as we can to tell the story of that place, but it's still relatively limited. And we're not going to cover everything, right? Brad, do you have something to share?
Yeah, I was just going to add and kind of supplement what Dave said there. So, and that's again, bringing it back to logistics and what a great job the team does, Natalka, to really, for someone who that was maybe a little difficult at first, to let go of those reins of like, everything's going to be okay and it's going to work out and we have things scheduled. Not to say you don't have to be flexible, but again, the logistics, there's a lot of comfort in that to know that we can really focus on the speakers in these conversations. So for anyone that's kind of worried about relinquishing that, they do a great job.
That's real.
Thank you.
That's real. I think because we know that, we as grown-ups, we're used to being responsible for planning everything. Natalka really does a great job of ensuring that everything is taken care of logistically, so you really don't have to think about that stuff, but it doesn't mean that it's easy as a grown-up to let go of those things. So, thank you for mentioning that. Does the program run just the once in the spring? Yes. So the way that we have actually scheduled this program is so that it does come directly after Catalyze. And the idea is that a lot of traditional leadership development programs are a year long. And so if you were to go through Catalyze and then immediately participate and explore, you will have gotten that full year experience of a leadership program. So, and we also don't want to put a barrier if someone just completed Catalyze. We want them to be able to follow and do explore. We often get feedback, well, why don't you do it during a different time of year and and it's hot and all these things, and that's real. Like those are things that we have to deal with, but it's that way for a reason. And currently it's just in the spring. Spring/summer. I mean, let's be real. Here in Arizona, we're March, April, May, June, like we're in the summertime.
Alumni, would any of you like to jump in on how you have implemented what you've learned in your day-to-day?
I can speak to this. Currently I'm in grad school at USC. Go Trojans. Dave, I know yep, there you got it. And I've been doing a lot of reading and a lot of writing, and I've been able to pull from my experience and explore into some of my writing, and it has helped me um kind of synthesize what it is to be in Arizona, what it means to be born and bred here, and how our state really contributes to what you're going to learn is the global economy. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons why Yuma sticks out to me so much, was because they really contribute to the global economy. I mean, I could make a case that the whole state, I mean, that there are other regions that do as well, but really it's fascinating, and I'm able to take that in and put it into my writing as a student. I was able to bring that information and bring it to my organization and think of ways that we could partner, whether even if it was just thought partnering, or maybe it was a resource, or whatever that looks like. I think that really the thing is that you have to be, this is where it's going to ask you to be a little creative and figure out ways that they can support you, but also how you can support them, if they want it. And that's, I think, one of the things that Jen or Dave or Natalka, one of you said, was that really, again, you are going in to learn about them. You are not their savior, and don't go in with that attitude. And um, instead, you are receiving their gift of information, and just be grateful for it. Figure out how you can use that, whether it's your personal life, your professional life, within your network. I have connected people to to some of the resources that we met on the tours and or the visits, and if you are able to help, awesome, wonderful, but that is not necessarily your goal. Your goal is to ingest what they're giving you, take from it what you can, and just figure out ways to, to distribute that information if you can.
I'll go next. All of Explore 2 was impactful for me. Probably it's hard to rate or rank what was most impactful was the Navajo Nation. And that's really because I work in Indian country all the time. And as a professional development trainer and teacher, um, going through Explore has helped me be more present in my presentations. Before I go on site, I travel around the country and am about to do a week long or whatever I'm doing presentation training in native country. I take more time now to learn about the issues that are impacting that community around Arizona, everywhere really. And it's just, again, made me be more present and to build stronger connections. So that's all.
That's all. No big deal. That's a great question, though, Patricia. I'm sorry I didn't see it. Richard, did you want to share on that? Or Brad?
Yeah, I think just being in education and kind of seeing the different perspectives. 'Cause we got a chance to really look at in several of our locations, how education, the challenges, and just some of the amazing things that people are doing around the state to kind of take a lot of those lessons and really incorporate it, and just to have a sense of really appreciation of what we do have a greater perspective of all of the other opportunities that are out there around the state. Visiting one of the colleges down in the Yuma area, just to see that there are several different options for our students to kind of look outside of the Phoenix area when we're looking for post-secondary opportunities. So just a lot of those. I think just personal, just the takeaways. I've been able to connect with some. We were able to do some volunteer work here in the local community because of the work and the connections that we made through Explore. My family and I were able to kind of give back to the community, because of the experience that we had in Explore. And I just kind of always told everybody, Catalyze was great. I loved Catalyze. That was you get your kind of foot in the door, you get a little taste, but Explore really became. And I know Brad and I probably talked about it in the back of the bus one day, wherever we may have been around the state. It was everything. Explore was everything you wanted Catalyze to be. It was kind of just that culmination of experience that you're out there, you're doing it, didn't have to worry about anything because we were totally being taken care of. I do remember being at complete peace, um, riding around wherever we might have been, just knowing that we were going to go to an amazing location and really learn and get different perspectives. And we saw some highlights of some areas, but they really highlighted what was amazing about the different areas that we explored. But they also, we did not shy away from looking at what the actual and very real challenges were as well. So I thought that was amazing just to see that. I think somebody mentioned Yuma. I always go back to that Yuma experience. I can't wait to go back and explore that area on my own, and see it again. Just it really had an amazing impact. So, but yeah, that it definitely has changed my life. With the connections that I've made and been able to keep, and all the friendships that I've had. So I think that just that personal growth and that perspective really has had the impact on me, the very lasting.
Thank you, Richard.
I'll keep it brief, Jen, and I'll just say it's definitely, as we heard from others, challenged. I think as somewhat, and this wasn't intentional, but somewhat in kind of myopic view of Arizona and Phoenix, right? And everything kind of flows from Phoenix. and really challenge that. But even locally, going to South Phoenix, spending more time in Mesa, but then definitely going to all the other cities and locations really challenged that. So when I think about that, I think about exemplars around the state for education or immigration or whatever that may be. It's not just Phoenix. It's these other areas that are doing incredible things with regard to so many different topics. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Well, with that, unless there's any more questions, I think we can probably wrap up. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, especially to our alumni. Appreciate you so much and always love hearing you speak about the program. You get me all hyped up for doing it again. So thank you for doing that. And if y'all have any questions about applying or any kind of lingering thoughts, you're welcome to reach out to me or Natalka. And we're happy to meet with you one-on-one or to answer those questions via email, whatever works best for you. And again, thank you all.